Rhino, teach them how to use the lightning staves.
Of course. It would be my pleasure. If you don't mind, I'd like your advice on something. Which civilians would make the best cannon fodder here?
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
What's good, anime enthusiasts? Welcome to another action-packed episode for Tennis to Be a Hero, to where Xylo and the others now face off against the Adventurers and Boojum. No Spriggan yet. Just Boojum and the others. And of course, the horde of fairies that assail the city. Now, once again, this is just another one of those action-packed episodes. There's not going to be a whole lot of story that's going to be said. If there is story, it's more side comments, side conversations, but they do reveal just a little bit more. They peel back that layer in the background that's has some events going on and some pretty head-scratching observations that may or may not lean you to think one way or another. In particular, how much does the demon blight know about goddesses, and what Xylo said about if the demon blight is able to get a hold of the goddess and the goddess, gets corrupted and turns into a demon lord. All of that evidence is now sort of making me question, okay, are there now goddesses on the demon blight side? What is the hierarchical structure of the demon blight themselves? Who's their leader? How are they moving this tactfully? And how are they this intelligent? Like, it's not even like a parasite at this point. It is a whole nother nation that is taking over humanity. Now I have to wonder, I might be on the demon blight side for real. But we'll get there when those moments come up. So in the beginning, the episode begins where we last left off last episode, where Marlin just reveals to Kivia that he is an op, and Kivia needs to hard confirm, is my uncle that corrupted? Do I need to give him the smoke? And she tries to confirm by asking, hey, which unit knows the fairies first? And Marlon responds, the EOF City Defense Force Unit 7110. A few of them survived, but they're in no condition to talk now. Sure, they're not in no condition to talk now. Sure, we got a battle to go on. Sure, yeah, no, he's cooked. It's time to put him on the list. Anyway, we get a small little section to see where Boojum cleared the way for the fairies to attack through the sewers. And after that, we get to see the Holy Knights in action. This time they're not being cannon fodder. This time we give them the space that they aren't just some random NPC mooks. They can defeat the fairies. They got tactics. They got skills. Awesome. And you got Frenchie seeing them, commenting on them. And she and her unit is moving on to investigate Spriggan some more. Then we get the heroes. Xylo and his group, they're busting through these streets to get to the shelter that some survivors are at. And we give Tatsuya some action, some love. It's very nice. And then the survivors, they get spooked by Xylo and Tatsuya because, oh my god, penal heroes. And then what Goddess Terroretta, and with Rhino calling Xylo the Thunder Falcon, the people are more receptive, seeing that now the actual, their saviors are there. So they open the doors to the shelter. And of course, Rhino, being the uncaring person that he is, saying, should we sacrifice the elderly first? No, brother, keep them thoughts to yourself. We need to fight. Reinforcement fairies come out of the woodworks, but JC and Neely come in to wipe them out and save them. Unfortunately, JC and Neely get assaulted by the Iron Whale, who's at that big tower that they're trying to get to. And afterwards, we get a small conversation with the Iron Whale and Boojum as they talk it out, determining who they need to focus on. Boojum slips up in the speech, and he says that he has no hatred of humans. Interesting. And their approaching destruction makes them all the more deserving respect. So Boojum is way more intelligent. You know, him reading poetry is one thing. Having these very complex thoughts and thinking more about humanity as a different race, a different set of people. Okay. And then he compares his way of thinking to Spriggan. Like, Spriggan has complete lack of respect for humans. Case in point of what happened to old buddy who defected already, and he got it along with his family. And then Boojum says this: only one who appreciates my perspective is my king. Boojum, what king are you talking about? I know you're not talking about the king of humanity or whoever that is. That's Norgal. I mean, he's off somewhere else, but who is this king on the demon blight side? How much structure and depth is there to the demon blight, their army, their nation? Are they a rising nation with values and morals? Like, I know y'all aren't just like a bunch of monsters running about. And Boojum, I see you yourself. I see that you are humanoid. How many more of them are there? You got like demon lord-esque abilities. I mean, there's something there, but we don't get much about that anyway. We don't get much more out of that. Afterwards, we see Kivia. She's in demon thought at the war table, trying to figure something out. Even when Rajit addresses her, she's like in her own world. And Kivia wants him and her other two lieutenants to hold down the fort until she goes and do something else. And Rajit gives Kivia a little anime speech, giving her his full faith and trust. And Kivia's like, alright, Rajit, I'm gonna tell you something, just in case something happens to me. But we don't get to see or hear it, because we go back to the heroes as they begin their assault onto the tower. And this is a full-blooded, full-on action sequence to where Xylo and Terrorita making their attack run onto the bridge, kind of go up to the tower. They're taking out demon after demon, fairy after fairy. It's all flashy action stuff. And at the bridge leading up to the tower, they get to now face off against Shijibaru. As Shijibaru attacks them, they get the scrapping. And then, of course, Iron Whale gives Shijibaru some firing support. And it culminates into the sequence to where Shijibaru gets comboed into Neely and Jace. And while the Iron Will is distracted, he gets blessed by Rhino with a bunch of artillery fire. Awesome sequence. I enjoyed it. And then after that, we get a little bit of a cooldown. We get a scene where Kivia is meeting up with Frenchie. And Kivia is requesting Frenchie to grab some intel for her. And Frenchie accepts. And she'll give the information to Kivia in the morning. Alright. So after that, let's rev our gears back up. Let's get back into the action. And now it's Xylo and Boojum squaring off. But Boojum is transformed into, I guess, his demon lord form or his full demon form. And he looks like a warframe or some insectoid humanoid thing. I'm thinking Solo Leveling, the final boss. But I'm more thinking like a warframe-esque. He can like do heavy slashing projectiles, not really going up to Xylo for close quarters combat. Jason and Rhino can't help out due to the smoke and mist being kicked up by Boojum, so it's Xylo and Terrorita are doing this together. Both sides duke it out up until the point where Xylo destroys the tower, and then after that Boojum goes, alright, time to turn it up to 11. Goes full blown like not spinning top, but more turning his arms into tornadoes whipping through everything. And while this is going on, Xylo gets a little sentimental. He starts to see a little yellow. He starts to feel that heat in his heart as he remembers how it felt to fight with his other goddess. And then he gets a Zenkai boost. He goes even harder. Terrorita summons the holy sword for Xylo, and they go in for that final strike. And interestingly enough, Boojum recognizes the weapon, and he calls it the world-ending holy sword. And after Xylo gets a good stab into him, he twisted, Boojum is bamped out of existence. And then that's the end of the episode. Yeah, I know. It just like ended right there. I was like leaning back in my chair and I see the holy sword being turned to dust and the dust going into the wind. And then it ended. I was like, oh, wait, that's it? Oh, okay. So yeah, a lot of just action, but these little pockets of things, especially what Boojum is revealing to us, that there's a bit more structure. Well, not a bit. There's a lot more structure to the demon blight, the fairies. Like there is a hierarchical structure. There's a king, for that matter. Not so much a benevolent king, maybe, but more of a king that can see humans in a different light rather than just things that need to be stamped out. Then we have Boojum recognizing the Holy Sword as the world ending Holy Sword. So, giving a bit more credence to not only Terrata's skill, but also he's done his research, or maybe goddesses are a lot more prevalent on the Demon Blight side, and maybe the Demon Blight has their own information on goddesses. Who really knows? But world ending sounds like Xylo's got a little bit of a more of a trump card. He can definitely take out the whole army on Demon Blight with the Holy Sword. But we'll see if that happens. We'll see. Of course, we only got one more episode left, so we'll see how they end it. It's left on the aftermath of the battle, so we'll see if they do a little bit more of the aftermath. We'll see what information Frenchie cooks up, and if they don't do that, maybe they give us a bit of like a flashback on Xylo as he goes through his days in the Holy Nights with his goddess, or maybe we get to see Rhino's sentencing. I mean, even though Rhino volunteered to be a hero, maybe there's a reason why and how that conversation played out. I wonder if they will show that. But if nothing else, that is pretty much it. Comment down below what y'all think about the episode. Tell me what y'all think about the information revealed thus far, or tell me your favorite moment that happened in the whole entire defense fight. If nothing else, I hope all of you have a good day, night, evening, morning, wherever you are in the world. And I hope your day is just a little bit better than it already is. With that, we'll catch y'all in the next episode. Peace.